Islamic character and a non-Islamic character in their wrongdoing. An Islamic character does not have misbehavior that is a pattern. You understand? He makes mistakes. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the mu'mineen, وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً أَوْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُم. The believers are the ones who, when they do a major sin or an injustice to themselves, what they will do? ذَكَرُوا اللَّهَ فَاسْتَغْفَرُوا لِذُنُوبِهِمْ. Immediately, they will remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they will stop the wrongdoing that they are doing, and then they will turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to ask for forgiveness. Okay? So, you will not find an Islamic character who is an alcoholic. Why? Because that is a norm. That is not a mistake. That is not somebody who erred here or there. You know, that is a huge gap in the character. You will not find an Islamic character, for example, and he is a drug addict or a compulsive liar. Lies all the time. Impossible. You know. But do Islamic characters sometimes fall and do wrong things? Yes. That's normal. That is only human. Prophet ﷺ says, كل ابن آدم خطأ وخير الخطائين التوابون. All humans are fallible. They make mistakes, but the best amongst those who make mistakes are those who repent. Okay, so that's an answer to your question, whether the morality is one or not. It's supposed to be, and that is the right. If it is not, then there is something wrong in the in building that character. Any other questions or comments or?
About I can relate the concept.
What about it?
I don't get it that much. I'm not the needs, the taste, the action, but
Okay.
what does it for the concept?
Now your need is demanding satisfaction, right? That satisfaction is either a thing, physical thing, you want money, it's a thing, or it is an idea or whatever, but it is something that you need in order to satisfy your need. Okay? You're supposed to have a concept, an idea about this which satisfies your need. Whatever it is, whether it is a tangible thing, or it is an action, or whatever it is, you need to have a concept. A concept basically is, what is this? Is it good or bad? That action. Okay? So basically, you need money. Alright? Now you have the idea of robbing a bank. Does it satisfy your need?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. You start thinking, is that good or bad?
Bad.
Should I do it or I should not do it? That is the concept part. Okay? If you say it is haram, it might lead me to hellfire. You know, it makes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala angry with me, so I'm not going to do it. That is an Islamic mentality. You know, that is thinking. Okay.
So what would be the difference between concept and taste in this case?
Taste is the attitude that you have towards it that is based on your concept. Your concept is judgment, right, wrong. Okay, black, white. But taste is your feeling towards it, how you feel towards it, which is usually based on your concept of it. Right? If you say wrong, most likely what's going to happen? You're going to hate it. You're going to dislike it. If you're saying good, you're going to like it. Okay? So it has to do with your taste, with your feelings. That, the other one has to do with your mind, you know, with your thinking.
But I can, if somebody is struggling, he hasn't yet developed that liking, even though he fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
He's what again?
Somebody who is struggling to do the right thing,
Okay.
and even though his concept, which is he believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he always turns to the Quran and Hadith, but he hasn't developed that automatic feeling toward the thing that he wants to
Yeah, it
do.
takes time.
He has that taste. He still has the taste for alcohol. If you give him the choice between water and alcohol, he will
That
say, "Oh, it's alcohol."
depends on the depth of their belief, of their Islamic mentality. For example, the Sahaba, used to drink, most of them. You know, that's not a secret. Umar ibn Khattab was a heavy drinker.
Yeah.
Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all of a sudden told them that this is haram. Don't listen to those who tell you that alcohol was prohibited gradually. There's no such a thing in Islam that is prohibiting something gradual. In Islam, either it is prohibited or it is not prohibited. Okay? It was not prohibited until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the ayah that says, إِنَّمَا الْخَمْرُ وَالْمَيْسُرُ وَالْأَنصَابُ وَالْأَزْلَامُ رِجْسٌ. That alcohol is rich, is an impurity that you should avoid. All the ayahs before that, do not pray when you are drunk, do not, all of them doesn't make alcohol haram. It was still halal until this ayah was revealed. And that's why the Sahaba kept their alcohol until this ayah was revealed. When this ayah was revealed, what did they do? They went home and they brought their alcohol and they poured it in the streets until it was running in the streets of Medina like rivers. Now, why did they have this string? Nowadays you have an alcoholic going to Alcoholic Anonymous and going to doctors and trying to get rid of it. And these people, some of them were real alcoholic and real, they left it just like that. What is the reason?
Their faith.
Their faith is stronger. That's what it is. Yes.
What is the other difference between the haram and halal concept and the taste of anything? What is the other difference except halal and haram in Islamic and non-Islamic ideology?
Well, in non-Islamic ideology, people look usually painful or enjoyable, for example. Some people look beneficial or gain or loss, regardless of whether it's halal or haram. In certain ideologies, like in Marxism, for example, is it ideal or not ideal? Is it in line with, the ideas of Marxism and the ideal society, or it's not? So your mentality is what in the end controls your concepts about, about things, whether they should be done or not. Okay. But here we're talking about the mentality of the Sahaba, because their Iman was very strong. They didn't have any reluctance in action, in moving, immediately to this action. They started hating it immediately, disliking it immediately, and as a result, they did the action of breaking their jars and throwing their. I will ask you a question. How about somebody who tells you, I believe in Allah, I believe in the hereafter, I believe in the Prophet, I believe in everything, I believe I should fast in Ramadan, but I don't. Do you believe him?
No. Yes.
What do you mean no? There are millions of Muslims.
Like that.
They're all like that, they don't fast.
So would that be a case where the nafs trumps the aqidah?
That's
The
a
concept seems to be related to the aqidah,
Yes,
and taste seems to be related to nafs.
yes.
And so you can have a case where the nafs trumps the aqidah, and another case
They
where
have some sort of gap between their mentality and their taste.
and
of their
you can
nafs.
have a case where the aqidah trumps the nafs. In the case, for example, of let's say somebody is an alcoholic,
Yes,
but he's Muslim.
yes,
He knows that this is contrary to his aqidah. This
yes.
is haram. But his desire to satisfy the need is so strong by his nafs that he still violates the aqidah. So the nafs win in this context. And in a case where, for example, somebody needs medication which is bitter, his taste or his nafs tells him, hey, this is not nice, but his understanding that this is necessary to cure him trumps his nafs and causes him to take it.
Possible. A good explanation. Very good. Yes.
Well, what about the case, for example, where someone is an alcoholic? There are people who are alcoholics that they get off of alcohol and cause them seizures.
But that's, I said that earlier actually about alcoholism in particular, because it's an addiction. And addiction by nature is physical. It's not about any of this. It's about a disease that, makes this person needs to have alcohol, otherwise he is going to have fits, and that's why they need actual medication, not lectures. They need lectures, but let me give you an example in the Islamic history. There was a man, a very famous hero. His name is Abu Mahjan al-Thaqafi. Abu Mahjan al-Thaqafi. Thaqif is from Taif, near Mecca. In the battle of Qadisiyah against the Persians, now he was in the Muslim army under the leadership of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, a great Sahabi. And he was in jail, not in jail, in the house of Sa'd basically, tied up because he was caught drinking. And they were waiting for the battle to finish in order to give him his lashes, the 80 lashes. And it was not the first time, that he has done it, and nor was it the first time he was punished. He was punished before. But he was going mad in his, he was tied up. Finally, he called for the wife of Sa'd and begged her, please let me, and Sa'd at the same time was leading the battle, laying on his stomach because he had some pimples between his legs because of riding the horse for a long time. He developed these things. So he was laying on flat on his back, of his tummy, and he was, guiding that thing. And it seems that the Muslims were losing, And the news came to Abu Mahjan, who was tied up. So he asked her, begged her, to untie him. And he gave her all the oaths that if he is alive, he will come back and he will tie himself and he will put himself where he was. That he just wanted to make jihad, that's all. She trusted him and she untied him. So he rode on his horse and went like an arrow against the enemies. Now Sa'd is on top of the house and he's saying to himself, if I am not sure that Abu Mahjan is downstairs and he's tied up, I could swear that this is him. Nobody can do this other than him, because every time he attacks the Persians on one side, they will have a huge circle of people running away from him. Then he will go to the other side and people will start running away from him. Until the battle was over and the Muslims won in that battle. He came back and he tied himself up. Sa'd came from upstairs and he found his horse, his own horse, Sa'd's horse, sweating, because Abu Mahjan was using it. So he realized what has happened. And he told him, whatever you do after today, I'm not going to be the one who's going to punish you. Let somebody else, punish you for what you have done, after what you have done today. He told him, and for me, I'm not going to drink it anymore. Because it seems that before he was doing it as a challenge. Every time you hit me, trying to stop me from doing it, I'm not going to leave it. I'm going to leave it when I want to, at the time that I want to, because I am a man and I want to prove to myself that nobody can break me. He had this kind of mentality, and there are people who are, who are like that. Sometimes you might have a conflict of concepts. In other words, you do know that if you do not fast, that Allah is angry with you. But at the same time, you have another concept regarding the same action of not fasting, that Allah is Ghafurun Rahim. Allah will forgive me, because He is all forgiving. Why would Allah punish me? I am a poor little guy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Almighty. What do I need my fasting for? I love Him, I worship Him, but I cannot fast. I can, but it's hard on me. I'd rather not fast and put myself in His hands, and then if He wants to punish me, I accept that. That's fine with me. But I don't think that He would. There are people who have this kind of mentality. So here, what do you have? You have one concept cancelling the effect of another concept. And as a result, this is here is not clear. So you find that this person he likes fasting and he likes to fast, but at the same time he doesn't. Okay. Now in each one of these, we're supposed to know if any of this applies to any of us, to see where exactly the problem is coming from, and to try to tackle it and deal with it the right way. Yes, brother.
I think one of the factors that plays a big part in a lot of this is also environment. Because if you're in the right environment, you're encouraged.
True.
And if you're in the wrong environment, you're not encouraged.
True.
So
When we talked about the drives, we said that those drives, to start with, are aroused by what? Outside stimulus. Okay? Unlike the physical needs. The physical, biological needs, whether you see food or you do not see food, you're hungry, you're hungry. Okay, you want to eat. But in order to want to become a president, you should be aware of elections and hear the news of presidents, and in order to have that in your mind and to start to aspire to. So your environment might contain, different stimulus that will keep you stimulated, to seek certain things. It might also affect your behavior in the sense that you start doing things blindly just by imitating certain people, like your parents or your friends. Usually people who lack experience, like teenagers or people like that, are the ones who do like that. They blindly follow or blindly imitate, without stopping and asking themselves whether this is right or this is wrong. So if you have a 13 or 14-year-old boy going to play with 13 or 14-year-old boys and they smoke pot, most likely your son will. Okay? Even if you lecture to him. Why? Because this did not develop yet clearly in this mechanism is not developed clearly in his mind. He's still building his character. Okay? And you have put him in a situation, where he has a strong stimulus and he has a strong encouragement from the environment of the people who are around him. So there is a good, chance that this person will do wrong. Wait, other questions?
One,
Yeah.
there is conflict between the concept and the taste. And in the opposite way, not to say the taste was, some Muslims have a taste, they like something, they love it. But because they are Muslims, because it's haram, they don't do it. So what's...
That's fine. I actually gave you an example of that myself. I told you if somebody gives you a delicious food, you will physically it is delicious. You will eat it and you will enjoy it. But once they tell you this is haram, you're going to change your whole taste and you're going to start to.
They won't change their whole taste. They will still say.
No. Believe me, they will. They will. If somebody tells you I like sin and I love sin, but I don't do it because it is haram, they've got a problem, a serious problem. Okay? Nobody likes something that Allah dislikes, and they still claim that they are mu'min. Okay? They might tell you, I am used to it. I used to drink heavily, for example, and I miss it, and I can't. But at the same time, they will not tell you, I love it and I love to do it.
But in the hadith of the Prophet, you give up what you like. Still you like it, but you give up what you like for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
No, that is not about this. That is if you give charity.
Different hadith, not a new one.
No. If you give charity, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. The Prophet ﷺ recited the ayah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says you will never achieve righteousness until you spend out of that which you like or you hold dear. Okay.
من ترك شيئا لله.
أبدله الله خيرا منه. If you leave something, for Allah, Allah gives you something better. But there is no such a thing that you like something to do something, an action, and it is haram. I'm not saying there is no such a thing. There are people like that. But are they Islamic characters? No. It means they've got a problem. So this person who tells you, you know what, I love to commit adultery. Okay? But I'm not doing it because it's haram. What kind of logic is this? Doesn't make sense. If you believe that it is haram, why do you like it then? That is different from telling you, I'd love to have a relationship with a woman. Why? He's supposed to. If he doesn't, then he's not normal. A man is supposed to be like this. So when he says that, he's not saying anything wrong. Okay? But to say adultery, which is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already ruled that it is haram. Prophet ﷺ حبب إلي من دنياكم الطيب والنساء. There's nothing wrong with it. That's normal. But what is the wrong? To like the wrong way to satisfy that need, and to consider it okay, you know, and then not to do it because I don't want to do it, because I don't want to displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And here, you know, maybe somebody just becoming a Muslim, you might accept this kind of logic, you know, from them. But somebody who's a Muslim and has been a Muslim for a long time, he's not supposed to like anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, once you know that something is haram, immediately you shut off. Immediately you don't like that thing. There's a brother in Britain, you know, he won £6 million, British pounds, in the lottery. Somebody told him that is haram, some sheikh. He asked and inquired, and they told him that this is some form of gambling. He went on TV, and he told them, I give up this because it's haram. You know, I don't want it anymore. Wallahi, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him the reward not of the 6 million, but of the da'wah that he has made, that how strong the character of a Muslim is, that he's willing to reject 6 million pounds, that's like $10 million, you know, just because he doesn't want to commit a haram. The lesson that he's teaching people about Muslims and Islam is more important than, you know, the $10 million that he's giving up. Now this man liked the $6 million pounds, and I'm sure that he has needs for it. Why did he leave it? Why all of a sudden it became ugly to him?
Because of the concept.
Because of the concept.
But the taste is there. He likes this.
No.
He would love to.
Believe me, if the taste is there, he would not act this way. If the taste is there, he is in London, he is in Britain. He could say, I want to stay anonymous. I don't want nobody, you know, to know about an
He knows that Allah sees him all the time.
Then he doesn't like it. That's why he gave it up. It's impossible that he likes it and he still, you know, does that. What do you think liking is?
Doing it.
It is what makes you
Do or not to do.
do this, accept doing this, or not accept. That is what liking is. It doesn't mean that it's beautiful or it's not beautiful. Okay? The Prophet ﷺ says that one of the 7 that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will shield on his shade on the day of judgment is a man who was seduced by what? Not a woman, a beautiful woman. You know, a powerful woman. So the liking, the physical liking is there. She is beautiful. Okay? But the act itself is ugly to him. The act of adultery. That's why he backs up. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Yusuf, فَلَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ وَهَمَّ بِهَا لَوْلَا أَنْ رَأَى بُرْهَانَ رَبِّهِ. It's the same thing. So I'm not talking about you seeing something beautiful. Okay? There are things that are physically beautiful, but they are haram. You see them beautiful, nothing wrong with it. But they are haram things. The way that they package alcohol or whatever, you know, is very appealing. And they try to do it that way to make it appealing for people so that they will accept it. But for me as a Muslim, does that make drinking alcohol a good thing? No. Now, is it a beautiful bottle? Yes, it is. You know, these are two separate things. They don't have anything to do with each other.
Maybe he wants to say that we like money. Is what you mean?
Yeah, Allah says, وَتَحِبُّونَ الْمَالِ.
Money.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
we all
we like money.
This stuff everybody struggles with. Yeah, we all like it.
Yeah, but this guy.
I mean, some things are easy to give up, some things are not so easy to give up.
True. So what?
Some things are really easy to give up.
What's that?
Some things are really easy to give up, some things you like and
And
you're good at.
what is easy for you to give up might be
Might not
very
be easy
difficult
for
for
the other
someone
person.
else, and vice
Yes,
versa.
yes, of course.
Yeah,
And what I
Depending
miss
on
might
people's
be
concepts.
completely different.
that's true. Yes, sister.
Allah says He doesn't burden a soul more than they can bear. So like even if you think it's hard, it's actually not hard because Allah knows you can do it.
That's well. The ayah that that where Allah says He does not ask of a soul more of a burden than it can carry, it means that everything that He has asked is within your ability. It doesn't mean that you should try and see, can I do this or can I? You can. If Allah asks you to do it, then you can. If you say you cannot, you're lying, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't lie. Okay? Can you leave certain things out? All things that are haram, leave them out? Yes, you can. Why? Because Allah said so. And Allah does not ask of a soul more than what it can carry. So since He asked you to leave it out, it is within your ability. Now, is it hard? It might be. You know, I give this answer usually to those who tell me that homosexuality is not a choice. That those who are born like this and they cannot change. I tell them it's impossible. Since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says it is haram, it means you can leave it. It means it's not part of your nature. Is it hard? Yes, it is hard. But does that mean that you cannot do it? No, you can do it. But imagine that you are created with one leg. You have a challenge and you live with it the rest of your life. Imagine that you are born blind. Can you live being blind? Yes. Nothing is going to happen. You know, you might not be lead the normal life. But again, like we said last time, we said there is anything that is normal. Fine. Other questions again, or?
Besides, the price of Jannah is not cheap.
True.
When
Now what happened? I told you, the nafs is rebellious. The psyche part of the character, that is the most rebellious things. You might have people agree with you on everything that you say when it comes to concepts and mentality. But taste, you know, is something that you do not convince people of. Taste is something that people themselves develop. So it depends how much they believe in the concepts that they have is going to decide how strong their taste is going to be regarding certain things. How strongly they like things or they dislike things. Okay? So matters of taste, if you have a child and he has a problem or she has a problem with the matters of taste, you know, he agrees with you when it comes to concepts and everything, but when it comes to taste, he has questions or he has whatever, it means you're not using the right way to raise him or raise her up. Children you don't preach to. Children you don't convince. Children, what do you do with them? You train. Children you train. You don't tell your child half an hour explaining to him how important it is to perform prayers or the rewards of prayers. What do? You pick him up by the hand and you go to the bathroom with him and you make wudu with him and you pray with him. That's it. Do that for 2 years and then leave him on his own. He will continue the rest of his life on his own. If you keep telling him, go pray, go pray, go pray, that is, you know, tackling the first part of his character is not going to work. Maybe he will pray when you're present, but when you leave the house, he's not going to pray. Maybe he will pray quickly and not focus just to tell you, I have done it. You know, the right way with children is to train them and to make the right actions appealing to them. You see what the Christian missionaries do. There are some Christian missionary schools back home. They have been trying to Christianize Muslims forever. They never succeeded. You know, maybe 1 or 2 people in every town after a century of work. But the way they do it is really, if it's with non-Muslim, anybody who is non-Muslim, you know, they will go for it very easily. They will make them hate the Prophet Muhammad alayhi sallam. How? Every time the name Prophet Muhammad is mentioned, they dim the lights, they make bad smells, they hit the kids with sticks or whatever. When they mention the name Jesus, they give them chocolates and the lights are up and they're beautiful smell. Now I remember these are 2 years old, you know, and 3 years old. When they grow up, the name Muhammad is associated in their minds with what? Bad images, bad colors, bad smells, bad, you know, violent things. The name Jesus is, you know, associated. What are they doing here? They're targeting what? Taste. They're targeting the child's psyche. Because that is the easiest way to control a child and to control their behavior.